Hello and welcome to In the Studio, episode 82. Today we are going to build a groove from scratch. So I have a handful of samples picked out here. I find it beneficial sometimes to, set aside an hour or so, go through some samples, pick out sounds that are going to suit each other and suit the vibe that you're after. And it can just streamline the process when you're ready to sit down and actually produce music. So um, all the samples I picked here are pretty much all drums except for a little vocal snip that I want to try out. I may dip back into my sample library for some little tidbits. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So the only thing that's laid out here in the playlist right now is this basic 4 to the floor kick drum. And all this is I have a low kick, which it's just a kick taken from a sample pack. All the top frequencies are filtered out with the envelope built into the sampler here. And I've shown you how to do that in an episode or two back. So I'll put that up in the card if you want to check that out. That's all that's happening there. And just a top kick layered on top of that. The nice little transient click to help that kick cut through. And the only processing that's happening in the mixer right now, excuse me, is on the top kick I have all the low frequencies filtered out, obviously, and a little bit of compression on the master, and I mean just a little bit. You can see it just kind of dancing off that 0. So maybe a half dB of gain reduction there at a slow attack. I'm going to actually bump this release down to the fastest setting there, fast release, and a 2-to-1 ratio, just to mainly bring up the level for this video. But yeah, that's what's happening there. Just wanted to touch on that. So here we go. We got our kick drum. I'm going to try and use a tom for a bass line here. So I have this tom picked out. It's just grabbed one. There it is. So I would record a little rhythm in, but it kind of lags when I'm doing these videos, so that doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to draw it in. But normally I would jam around and actually kind of jam out the rhythm. So we can. Something like that I think might work. Just something really simple here. So I'm going to send this to the piano roll, and so I want an offbeat hit there. I'm going to turn the velocity up on that. I'm going to try that little groove there. Okay, and what I'm going to do, just to give this a little bit of a groove, is I'm going to take this 16th note here, right before the third kick of the bar, and I'm going to hop over to this none here, and I'm going to scooch it over a little bit. And all I did, I just highlighted it. I'm holding shift on my keyboard and using the arrow key to notch it over while I'm at the none setting in the snap grid here. And I'm actually going to go back here, just move this over a touch. I'll just give it a little extra groove there. Okay, and it's a little bit too high, so I'm going to pitch it down. But before I pitch this down, I want to enable this envelope here, and I'm going to pull the attack all the way in, pull the hold out, and everything else down. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to determine the note length in the piano roll here. So it's not going to go past this eighth note. It's not going to go past. It's going to play whatever, you know, the note length is in the piano roll here. So we don't get any overlap. We'll just tighten it up a little bit. You can hear the difference. And you can hear there that it just kind of tightened it up a little bit. And I might actually give this a filter envelope as well. So before we do that, though, don't get ahead of myself, let's pitch this down a little bit. Let's just try an octave. That sounds better there. And then there's too much high frequencies in there for me, so I'm going to filter some of these out with the filter envelope here. So I'm going to pull this all the way down. I'm going to turn this to a low pass ×2, which is a steeper low pass slope. And I'm going to pull this up. Pull the amount up a little bit and pull the release right in and just play with this decay a little bit. Nice, I'm digging that a lot more. And then if we need to tighten it up a little bit, we can just pull this decay in. But I think for right now, that will work for me. Okay, so we got our tom bass there, so I'm just gonna rename this because I'm kind of anal about that. Okay, now let's get in a little hat here, just to have, so we have something on the offbeat. So let's go to this channel here, and let's go for, it's already routed into the mixer. I just routed these in because I kind of have a basic routing template that I like to go with. This is just a super short closed hi-hat, so let's get a pattern in here. Let's lay down a little MIDI clip. Let's go to piano roll and just basic offbeat pattern here. Basic. Okay, cool. Now let's move on, and we're going to put another hat in here. And what I want to do with this one is maybe just an eighth note, something that's also playing with the kick as well, to give it a little bit more groove and a little bit of an accent happening with that closed hi-hat we just put in. So I'm just going to rename this first hat close hi-hat 1. And on this one, let's also turn it up in the mixer here. Okay, so let's put down a MIDI clip, and I'm going to send this to the piano roll. And on this one, I want, let's see here. Yeah, let's go with an eighth note pattern. All right, it's way too long, so we're going to go into the envelope here. I'm going to enable the volume envelope and pull in the attack, the hold, sustain, and we're just going to play with this here. There we go. It's obviously, it's way too loud, and I might just kick out this release a little bit. And I'm also going to change up a little bit of these velocities here. So to give the offbeat hat a little bit more room, I'm going to pull down these offbeats here. And then I also might pull down these two as well, where the claps are going to go. Okay, that'll work for now. Let's move on, and we're going to do a basic offbeat open hat. And these are all pretty much not, these are all just taken from a 909 kit. Let's rename that one, close hi-hat 2. Okay, open hat. I'm just going to turn it up here. Classic 909 open hat sound. Send it to the piano roll. Basic, just offbeat pattern. And I might just play around with these velocities a little bit, so they're slightly different. Okay, there we go. Moving on. Now let's get a clap in here. So just gonna rename this one really quick. Hi-hat 1. Okay, so we got a clap next. Let's throw that in, and obviously we'll put that on the 2 and the 4. Turn this up a little bit. Okay, so this is too long for me right now. I think I want to make this a little bit more short and tight. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to the volume envelope, enable it, pull in the attack, the hold, the sustain, and the release for right now, and we'll play around with the decay. That sounds nice and snappy, and I'll just kick this release out a little bit. Another thing I want to do to the collapse is, yeah, we'll give this second one a little bit more velocity, give it a little bit more groove. And another thing that works extremely well on claps is actually pulling them off the grid and pulling them forward a little bit. So I'm just going to play back this groove, and I'm just going to, you know, kick the claps forward a couple ticks and see where it's sitting the best. I think this one sounds the best just slightly before the beat. This gives it a little bit more surge, a little bit more groove, and helps, you know, give space for the kick as well. So yeah, we're gonna leave it just like that. And I also might pitch these down. So I'm just gonna highlight these and I'm just gonna hold Control. Oh, excuse me, it's Shift. Control is a whole octave down, and Shift and the arrow keys just pitches them up and down by you know, a semitone. So I'm going to play it back, and we're going to find the right pitch for this clap. I like it there at A sharp, so that's where we're going to leave it. Okay, let's go clap. 1, boom. Okay. Nice. Now I just want to put in some. Let's actually extend this out here to 2 bars. Maybe I'll throw in this little, try this little vocal snip next. Okay, so here's the little vocal.
In comparison with disco.
Yeah. I think I just want to use like that disco little snip.
In comparison with disco. In comparison with disco.
So yeah, I'm going to snip out just this disco little snip.
Disco.
Yeah, something like that. But I want to adjust the timing here a little bit. So we're going to go back to none. I'm just going to scooch it over.
Disco. 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 Disco.
Okay, I'm going to leave that right there for now. I think that can work.
Disco. Disco.
Cool. I'm just going to rename this guy here. Disco box. Boom. Okay, cool. Now, I don't want to make this, I don't want to overdevelop this little idea here. I want to leave room for effects and things to, you know, happen naturally, you know, especially in the arrangement, like arrangement phase if I were to take this song into arrangement, but this is, just a demonstration. But I think we could use a couple little percussive like hits to fill in a few of the empty spaces. So let's do that. I've just picked out a couple loops that I liked some of the hits on, and we'll see if we can maybe chop these up and rearrange them and fit them into this little groove here. I don't ever take just a straight loop. I don't know. I want to make it my own somehow. So there's many ways to approach, using loops and other grooves and stuff. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna listen. I'm gonna listen for some little bits and hits, and we're just gonna take a few that are jiving with the groove and kind of rearrange them and make our own little percussion loop here. So let's listen to this one first.
Disco. 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 Disco.
I like this little, I'm gonna mute Mr. Disco right now. That's gonna bug the hell out of me. Yeah, this little section right here. Not really any of the percussive hits, just like this little noise sound. Right. I'm gonna turn this back to cell, and I'm just gonna cut this out. And also there's another one here that I like too. And these can be adjusted, moved around, fades can be added later. I just kind of want to get, the pieces in there right now. So let's have a listen to this one. I think I like this little hit here. Grab my slice tool. I don't know if I like that right now. I might change that, but we're just gonna leave it in there for right now and move on. Let's check out this one. So I like these little hits here, like these little guys. I like this hit here. I like this one. So I'm going to just cut these out. And we'll just move these around and see where they might fit. I don't know how I feel about that second one, this one here, so I'm just going to go ahead and mute that for right now. Or I'll just turn it down in the mixer there, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to use that. So we'll just move on. I think these little percussion hits will suffice for right now. Gives it a nice little extra groove.
Disco. Disco.
Yeah, I think there's potential there. Obviously, it's, you know, just a basic idea at the moment. I do think that we could use a little extra like shuffly groove, a little like top shuffle happening. So I'm gonna add some more high-end drum elements. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna open up Contact actually for this, and all right, where are you, Contact? Boom. And let's put Contact on channel 25. Okay. And I'm going to put down a MIDI clip here. And I'm just going to draw in some eighth notes again for this. And you go into Contact. Perfect. I'm already in, because this is kind of what I like to use Contact for a lot of times. So I'm just in a hi-hat folder, some shaker loops. I'm going to pull one of those in here, and we're looped over eighth notes. And so I'm going to come down to the wrench tab. I'm going to go to Wave Editor, and first thing though, I'm going to pull in this release. I'm going to pull the sustain down, hold out a little bit, and the decay down, because I don't want any overlap with these, with these loops here. Yeah, I'll pull that out a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to use this grid function, and on the sync I'm going to go Time Machine Pro. That way it doesn't matter, even though these loops are in the same tempo as my song. Maybe we can use this for an example. Even though these are at 125 BPM, I can still use these and have, just switch up my start point on the grid here. It'll be in time. So I'm just going to flick through some of these loops here, and I'm going to change this out. For these, so we'll have to redo the release. Okay. Go back into Wave Editor, and we'll reapply the grid. We'll resync it using the Time Machine Pro here, and we're just going to have a little flick through. I'm going to turn this down though, because it's going to be probably pretty loud. Put this in my hats group here, and
disco, 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 disco.
That's cool right there. I could go on for days and days and pick out the perfect little groove, but I think that will work.
Disco, disco.
Yeah, just a nice way to use Contact to, create little like rolling grooves, which can really up the energy of your track. So we'll just call this one Top Shuffle. Yeah, let's hear it with the open hat.
Disco, disco, disco.
Cool. So there you have it, a basic groove.
Disco, disco.
Which can be expounded upon. So what I'm going to do here actually is I'm going to end the YouTube video right here. But if you do want to continue this little journey here, I'm going to show you how to process these sounds to kind of take them to the next level, to bring them, get them so they're pumping, they're grooving, and more gelled together, and just an overall more polished sound. And so I'm going to show you a few little, techniques I like to use for processing my drums and grooves. So if you are interested in that, I'm going to put a link down below in the description, where you can get access to this private video, which we'll be continuing here. So hopefully I'll see you over there. And if not, thanks for watching, but take care. And hopefully we'll see you in the other video. So, cheers.
Every time we wrote a song, that was unbelievable. Every time we wrote a song, it was a hit.